Hello everyone. I forgot to read yesterday, so I apologize. So I'm going to dedicate Tuesdays to being the days that I read the I Am Number 4 series, the Pittacus Lore Legacy series. And I know that tomorrow I'm going to do my Q&A, and I do have a couple of questions, so that's great. So I'll be able to do those. I did have a subscriber ask me to try to do it live. So I will try to figure that out. I've never done it live, never done YouTube live. I don't even know how to do that. So I'm going to do some research and figure it out. And hopefully at 2 p.m. tomorrow, I will be live on YouTube doing the Q&A. So then if any of you are on at the same time, any of my wonderful subscribers, or if anyone new is just there and happens to stumble upon the channel, you guys can ask me questions right then and there. I guess that's how that works. So we'll see. I'll figure it out. If not, if I haven't figured it out, you'll know, because at 2 o'clock I won't be on. And then in that case, around 2:30, I'll just post the video. If I have to just record it. But we'll see. So, yeah. Without further ado, gonna do The Rise of Nine by Pittacus Lore. We'll be picking up where we left off from the last video, on chapter 21. Alright? So, yay! Chapter 21. Nine and I ride the elevator down in silence. I'm furious and utterly humiliated, and it's got nothing to do with the feelings welling up inside of me. When we enter the apartment, Bernie Kosar jumps off the couch to ask if we are finished with all the nonsense. I don't think it's up to me. What do you say, Johnny? Nine mutters. He opens the fridge and pulls out a slice of cold pizza. He flips the tip of it into his mouth, takes a huge bite, and chews noisily. I lean down and scratch BK's chin. I hope so, buddy. With a mouthful of pizza, Nine says, "Pack up your doggy bags, BK, because we're hitting the road. We're heading back to Paradise City, where the girls are pretty, and damn, Four, take a shower already. You smell like smoke." "Shut up," I say, falling onto the couch. Bernie Kosar climbs into my lap and looks up at me with sad eyes. Nine walks away, down the hallway. He calls back to me. "A deal's a deal, man. We leave for Paradise in a couple hours, so you may want to grab a quick nap after your shower. And hey, it's a road trip. You can't be bummed about a road trip." I'm exhausted, but I slump towards my room. A deal is a deal. The bed moans when I fall onto it, but after a few minutes I can't bear my own smell. I drag myself into the shower. The water can't get hot enough on my skin, a side effect of my legacy. As I stand under the spray, so tired I'm swaying on my feet, I replay the fight on the roof in my mind. I try to figure out how I lost against Nine, but I can't. I'm so tired. I think I'm mumbling to myself. I turn off the water and listen to the drops fall onto the shower floor. I grab a towel as I stumble back to bed. I need to rest. I climb in between the sheets and, using telekinesis, turn off the light. I hear Nine's thudding steps as he moves towards the surveillance room, and I close my eyes. Sleep blankets my mind for a second before I hear a noise. Nine is lightly tapping on my open door. I have my back to him and I don't move, even when he clears his throat and starts to speak. "Hey, Johnny. I'm sorry that I can be such a dick. I could blame it on being locked up for so long. That does something to you. But honestly, I'm pushing here because I really do think I'm right. We need to go to Paradise, now, so I hope we can be friends. I want to be friends, and I'm glad you're here." I haven't moved a muscle the whole time he's speaking, and I'm stunned by this moment of sensitivity. I'm not sure what to say, even as I flip over. He's a slouched shadow leaning in the doorframe. "I'm glad I'm here too, thanks." "Sure." Nine slaps the wall twice, looks down at the ground, then turns and walks away. As his footsteps move down the hall, my eyes drift closed. After a few minutes, I hear faint whispers. I know a vision or nightmare is coming. I'm aware I'm in bed, yet I'm frozen in place. I feel myself floating, and when a dark doorway forms above me, I start to spin in the air incredibly fast. I rocket through the doorway, and I'm moving through a black tunnel with my arms stuck to my sides. As the black turns to blue, the whispers grow louder, repeating the same thing over and over. There's more to know. The blue tunnel turns to green, and green turns back to black. Then bam! I fall out of the tunnel, and my bare feet land on a familiar rocky floor. I swing my arms and find I have control of my body once again. I'm back in the arena at the top of the mountain. I whip my head around, looking for Sam, but he's nowhere to be seen. Neither is the other guard member. The space is completely empty, even the bleachers. But then, in the center of the arena floor, a black stone flips over, and on the other side crouches a large Mog soldier, wearing a ragged black cloak and black boots. His waxy pale skin shines, and the sword he holds above his head shimmers, as if lit from within. When he sees me, he stands and points the sword at me menacingly. It's pulsing, as if somehow alive, an extension of the evil that wields it. I don't hesitate. I rush right at him, my palms lighting up and emitting a powerful beam. When I'm 10 yards away, I aim the lumen at my feet and light them on fire. The flames climb up my body as I leap. The soldier jumps at me, and when we meet, I burrow a smoldering hole right through his chest. He turns to ash before hitting the ground. To my right, another black stone flips over. It's another sword-wielding Mog. 2 more flip to my left, and I hear others appear behind me. The stone under my feet starts to vibrate, and I dive away just as it rotates to produce a Mogadorian holding a cannon. After punching a hole through the closest soldier on my left, I start launching fireballs, battling with a newfound strength. My red bracelet comes to life, blasting open to sever the head of the giant soldier. In a minute, I wipe them all out. My adrenaline is pumping, and I'm listening for more stones to reveal my next round of suitors. A dozen stones flip in front of me, and then 50 on both sides. The largest, best-equipped Mog soldiers I've ever seen surround me. I create a small ring of fire around myself and move backwards, the fire maintaining its perimeter until I'm against the wall of the arena. The fire burns between the Mogs and me. Somehow, though, I don't think my position is particularly secure. I widen the ring of fire around me until it hits a row of soldiers. They catch fire but don't turn to ash. In fact, they walk right through the fire with their weapons up. I throw dozens of fireballs, but this time they have no effect. Something red zips in the air over my head, and I watch it puncture the chest of a Mog soldier who continues to march forward. I recognize the item. It's Nine's staff. Nine drops out of the empty bleachers to the spot right next to me. Even in the middle of a vision and an attack, I feel relieved to see him. I immediately feel safer, more confident that even these fire-resistant Mogs will be defeated now that it is the 2 of us. "Nice of you to join me!" I yell. He stands right next to me but doesn't seem to hear my voice. "Hey, Nine!" I try again, but he doesn't react. He just keeps staring at the advancing Mogs. When the soldiers are only a few feet away from us, the ground below our feet starts to tremble and quake. I try and hold on to the wall, but I can't keep my balance. Next thing I know, a tremendous boom shakes the opposite end of the arena, and pieces of black rock rain down on us. Nine dodges a large boulder that slams into the wall behind me, leaving a giant hole that leads to the outside. Looking through, I see blue skies. From the swirling dust and flying debris, a large stage rises out of the explosion. There, in the middle, is Setrekus Ra. Like an evil rock star, I can't help but think. The purple scar around his neck burns brightly above the 3 blue pendants on his chest. To my horror, the moment he appears, my fire goes out. I try to illuminate my legs with my lumen, but my palms suddenly won't light. Setrekus Ra slams the end of his golden staff with the moving eye onto the ground and roars for silence. The soldiers in front of me snap to attention, turning from me and Nine to him. One by one, they rest their weapons at their sides. "All of you have been chosen to end this fight," Setrekus Ra yells. "You will go forth, and you will destroy the Lorik children. When they are dead, you will bring me their pendants and their chests. You will crush their human friends. You will not fail me." The Mog soldiers cheer and raise their fists in unison. Setrekus Ra slams his staff down on the stone floor with another thundering bang. "Mogador will rule this galaxy. Everything, on every planet, will be ours." The soldiers cheer and wave their weapons in the air. "Together, we will fight. I will fight with you." Together we will win this battle and annihilate all who live on Earth. I try again to light my lumen, but it still doesn't work. Then I try to lift a large, sharp stone at my feet with my mind to launch at Satrekis Ra. It doesn't budge. My bracelet shield has retracted and shows no sign of kicking into action. My legacies and my inheritance have left me. The soldiers have turned back around and once again aimed their weapons at us. Without our legacies, we're sitting ducks. We have to get out of here. 9! This way! I yell. Finally, this seems to get through to him. He whips his head around and looks at me. We move towards the hole in the wall, standing in a ray of cold sunlight at the lip of it. I peer down into a valley thousands of feet below. I look over my shoulder. There are Mog soldiers charging at us. We'll walk on the side of the mountain, 9 says. Here, take my hand. I grab his hand. We've only taken a single step down the side of the snowy mountaintop when we realize 9's legacy has failed him too. Instead of feeling the mountain beneath my feet, there's only air. We're falling. I look over at a shocked 9, his long black hair whipping all around his face. Below us, 2 dark doorways are approaching fast. I prepare myself for a painful impact, my stomach doing backflips as I fly through the air. To my utter amazement, I go head first through the door on the left, and I keep falling until I find myself in a dark tunnel alive with booms of thunders, cracks of lightning. The whispering starts again, and as the tunnel turns to green, to blue, and back to black, the hoarse voice I heard when the vision began speaks again. New Mexico. My eyes snap open, and I sit up, my face damp with sweat. I rip off the sheets that cling to me. New Mexico? I leap up and charge down the hall towards 9's room, determined to convince him once and for all. If I have to fight him again, so be it. I will keep fighting until I win. I stop in front of 9's door and turn on my lumen, needing to confirm that my legacies really haven't abandoned me. I knock and push up the door open. I'm surprised to find 9 sitting up in bed with his head in his hands. 9, I say, flipping on the light. I'm sorry. I know a deal's a deal. You did beat me, but we have to go to New Mexico. I know, Johnny, I know. He shakes his head. I'm not sure if he's trying to wake up or come to grips with his sudden reversal. Probably both. Just let me wake up a bit. So, you've reconsidered? He plants his feet on the floor one at a time. No, I haven't reconsidered. But when you're falling to your death off a mountain because your legacies don't work and some ghost keeps repeating New Mexico, you take the hint. You had the same vision? I ask. The comfort I felt when I saw 9, it was because he was really there. It dawns on me that 9 and I have a connection, and I should give him more respect than I have been. I have to stop seeing him as an adversary. Our lives depend on it. 9 pulls on a shirt and gives me a condescending look I know well. No, you idiot. Haven't you figured it out yet? I didn't have a vision too. We were in the same vision. It's been happening all week. Get a clue, would you? I'm flustered, and I don't hide it well. But whenever I talked about them, you blew them off. You blew me off. You kept saying they're just dreams and all that. You could see how the dreams have been tormenting me, 9. You've been acting like I'm nuts for taking them seriously. First of all, you believe your Pittacus lore, so technically, you are nuts. Second, I wasn't messing with your head. I did blow the visions off at first, mine and yours. Thought they were bullshit. When Satrekis Ra asked me to surrender, just like he asked you to and that other kid, I figured the visions were a form of mind game or some trick perpetrated by the Mogs. I didn't think we should trust them. I definitely didn't think we should do anything they suggested we do. In fact, I thought the safest bet was to do anything but what they wanted. But this time, 9 pauses. This time it felt like a warning we should take seriously. Now I'm pretty convinced that there's some serious shit about to go down for. As relieved as I am that he has finally decided to listen, I'm frustrated it took so long. That's what I've been trying to tell you. Okay then, let's go. Have you thought about how we're going to get there? Oh man, please tell me you and Sander have your own helicopter or airplane tucked away somewhere. Sorry, dude. They were on our wish list. He yawns and stretches, but I do have a car in the parking garage, and I love to drive. Fast. 9 and I grab as much as we can from the weapons room, stuffing 2 large duffel bags full of rifles, handguns, and grenades. I pick up a rocket launcher, but 9 says it won't fit in the trunk. We need the remaining space for ammo. Next, we race to the surveillance room to grab the tablet. 9 sits down and starts punching keys at one of the computers. I have to shut this sucker down. Wouldn't want any of it to be useful to someone who isn't welcome. Do me a favor. While I'm dealing with this, check out the guard with that tablet thing. Check on the guard with that tablet thing. I press the blue circle in the upper corner and wait. I see our 2 radiating blue dots in Chicago. Then I see 1 in northern New Mexico, and there's still 1 in Jamaica. I wait a few seconds for the other 3 to appear, but they don't. 9? I only see 4. I say, my voice rising in panic. There are only 4 blue dots. He rips the tablet out of my hand. Let me see it. They must somehow be off the grid, Nine says. He doesn't sound so sure of himself all of a sudden. He presses the green triangle, and the green pulsing dots show up on the map in New Mexico and Egypt, just like before. At least the missing 3 didn't take one of the ships. I look closer and press the blue circle again. I realize the blue dot in New Mexico is now at the exact same spot as the green dot. That guard in New Mexico is on top of the ship, if it is a ship. Hope whoever that is knows it wouldn't be one lonely flight, Nine says. I shake my head at him and look back at the screen, trying to figure out what our next move should be. Then it hits me. Wait. The government is involved in all this somehow, right? What else is in New Mexico? Area 51. Is that where the green dot is? The most well-known place for UFO sightings? It's all starting to come together. Nine pulls the keyboard closer and starts tapping even more quickly. Cool your jets, cowboy. First of all, Area 51 is in Nevada. Second, we aliens know that place is just a decoy. It's a meaningless airplane hangar, give or take. A map of New Mexico appears on the main screen and Nine zooms in on the northern half. Okay, wait a second. He looks from the tablet back to the computer screen. Now, this is interesting. You weren't that far off, after all. We may not be headed for Area 51, but we are going someplace just as secret. What do you mean? I ask, while I wonder why I'm always playing catch-up with this guy. Nine pushes his chair away from the desk with an annoyingly satisfied grin on his face. Holy shit, it all makes sense now. He stabs the screen with his finger. In this part of New Mexico, there's a town in the middle of the desert called Dulce. Is any of this ringing familiar? No? Dulce is in the infamous underground Dulce base. As in the infamous underground Dulce base, run by the one and only U.S. government. That must be where our ship is. Now I'm positive those are our ships blinking away on that screen. In their perfect wisdom, the government feeds the rumors about Area 51 so all the UFO freaks stay away from the real deal in Dulce. I can't help but smile. So now we're going to an underground government base? I certainly hope so, Nine says, shutting down the computer. He practically takes a bow, so pleased with himself for figuring all this out. Although, it's supposed to be insanely secure and completely impossible to get into, and that's why it's the perfect place to hide our ship. Or to hide the random aliens you find during the course of your travels, I add. It feels as if everything has been turned upside down since I woke up. We quickly get moving, piling the weapons, our chests, and the supplies in the elevator. BK barely squeezes in with us as the elevator doors close. Nine surprises me with how gentle he sounds when he addresses the closed doors. You were a sweet home, Chicago. I hope I see you again. We descend rapidly. Hey, man, I say. Remember, our real home is so much cooler. He doesn't say anything, but I see his shoulders relax. The elevator doors open into an underground garage. We pause and carefully look around before we start to unload. With the coast clear, Nine and I throw the bags over our shoulders and BK follows. As we turn a corner, I see we're headed for a car hidden under a dusty tarp. After the luxury of the apartment, I can only imagine what must lurk beneath it. I can picture a yellow Ferrari or something equally flashy, or maybe it's a white convertible Porsche or even a black Lotus. Nine must have read my thoughts. He winks at me and yanks the tarp off to reveal our ride. Then, in all its glory, sits an old, beat-up, beige Ford Contour. Not exactly the pimped-out ride I was expecting, but bling is now the least of my concerns. This thing doesn't look like it'll even start. Are you serious? I ask, not even bothering to hide my disgust. Nine looks at me innocently, even though he clearly knew what I was expecting. What, you were hoping for a Camaro? Not exactly, but I was hoping for something with less rust spots, something that looks less determined to die, I say. Shut up and get in, Johnny, he says, tossing his bags into the trunk. You ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, that was the end of chapter 21. We're going to move on to chapter 22. I wake to the sensation of rocking back and forth. Everything hurts. My whole body feels fried by the sun, my throat, my skin, my feet, and my head. My lips are so dry and burned, I can't even put them together. My eyelids are the worst of all, and they refuse to open no matter how desperately I want to see where I am. The rocking and swaying continues, and it dawns on me I must be in a moving vehicle. I try to lift my hands to my head, but that's when I discover they're tied down. So are my legs. Now I'm wide awake, and I force my eyes open and look madly around, but all I see is darkness. I close my eyes again. The desert sun must have left me blind. I try to call out for help, but all I can do is wheeze and cough. My ears pick up an echo, and I concentrate on the air around me. I cough again, just to hear the echo once more. It's enough sound to understand I'm in a tight space, and that the space around me is made of metal. It feels like I'm in a coffin, and I almost retch. That's when I start to panic. What if I'm not blind? What if I'm really dead? I can't be. I'm in way too much pain to be dead, but I feel buried alive. My breath starts to come fast and furious when a man's voice stops my panic attack cold. It's loud and electronic, coming through a speaker. Are you awake? I try to answer him, but my throat is too dry. I tap my fingers on the bench and realize it's metal too. A few seconds later, there's a noise to my right, and I can sense something has been placed near me. There's a glass of water and a straw beside you. Oh, there's a glass of water and a straw beside you. Take a sip, the man says. I turn my head and find the straw with my mouth. The skin on my lips cracks as I try to close them around the straw. When I take a sip of water, I can taste the metallic tinge of blood, and I hear a low humming in my ears. It's the same hum I heard at the gate. The box I'm in must be flowing with electricity. What were you doing at that gate? The man asks. Every time he speaks, I'm struck by how neutral his voice is. It isn't friendly, but neither is it threatening. Lost, I whisper. I was lost. How did you get lost? I take another sip before saying, I don't know. You don't know? I see. Your number is 6, is it not? I cough and choke at the question, mentally chewing myself out for doing so. I'm usually cooler than this, but my mind is completely cooked by the sun. If he wasn't sure of the answer before, he is now. I resolve to get a grip, to stop making stupid mistakes. The voice is back. Well, number 6, you're pretty famous around here. The footage from the high school in Paradise and the way you took down those helicopters in Tennessee was impressive. And then there's the incredible show you put on in D.C. last week, breaking John Smith and Sam Good out of a federal facility. You're quite the little warrior princess, aren't you? I'm still stuck on how he could know who I am. Now he's talking like he had front row seats to my life. My body sways hard to the left. The vehicle must have taken a turn, taking me who knows where. I push against the strap over my forehead. Nothing happens. I try using my telekinesis, but as soon as I start to focus my thoughts, pain rolls through my stomach so bad I almost throw up. What you need to do is relax. Trying to fight isn't going to get you anywhere. You're dehydrated and most likely have heat stroke. You're going to feel pretty sick for a while. Who are you? I manage to ask painfully. Agent David Purdy, FBI, he says. I feel slightly better knowing I'm in the hands of the U.S. government, not captured by the Mogs. I couldn't go through that again, knowing what was coming, especially now that the charm that protected me the first time has been broken. With the FBI, my chances of survival have just skyrocketed. No matter how aggressive they are, they aren't monsters. All I need right now is a little patience. The opportunity to escape will come. Purdy doesn't know that, probably assumes it can't be true. Right now, I'll just follow his advice. Relax, rehydrate, wait. I might as well see what he's willing to tell me about what he knows about me, what he knows about all of this. Where am I ask. The speaker squeals before Agent Purdy answers. You're in a transport. It's a short trip. Again, I try to use my telekinesis to undo my leg straps, but I'm still too weak and the attempt makes me nauseous again. I take another couple of sips of water to give myself time to think. Where are you taking me? We've got a reunion planned for you with a friend, or maybe I should say a friend of John Smith's. Do you call him John, or do you call him number 4? I pause before answering. I don't know what you're talking about, I say. I don't know anyone named John 4. All of a sudden, I remember what happened back in the desert, just before I blacked out at the gate. I felt half of my mind, so much so I wasn't even sure if the helicopters landing close by were real. I remember hearing, I felt half out of my mind, so much so I wasn't even sure if the helicopters landing close by were real. I remember hearing Ella's voice. No, I didn't just hear her voice. We spoke to each other. She asked, I answered. Given the fact that it's the FBI who has me, it's a pretty good bet there really were helicopters. If those were real, maybe I did communicate with Ella. Has a new legacy kicked in, just when I needed it most? Ella, can you hear me? I try again, just in case. The FBI is holding me. An agent named Purdy has me locked up, and we're in some kind of vehicle. Purdy says it isn't far, wherever it is we're going. How did you get to the desert, number 6? Purdy's voice interrupts. Weren't you just in India with your friends? Remember that? Just like all the other kids reading school books and being kidnapped at the airport? How does he know that? How did you know where the base was? His voice is losing a bit of its neutrality. I think I hear just a hint of impatience. What base? I ask. I'm having a hard time thinking straight. The one we found you dying outside of in the desert. How did you know where to find it? I try to turn invisible, but again, the moment I try testing my legacy, my stomach erupts with a ferocious and immediate pain. I want so badly to curl up in a ball, but the straps hold me flat and the pain takes my breath away. Drink your water, the agent advises again. His voice is back to its detached neutrality. Just as I did the first time, I obey, take a sip, and wait. The pain finally starts to dull, but then a powerful wave of dizziness washes over me. My mind feels like it's a car careening out of control, swerving this way and that. The thoughts, too many of them to be coherent, come fast and furious. The events from the last few days flash by me. I see myself taking hold of Marina's arm right before we teleported. I see Creighton lying motionless. I watch myself saying goodbye to John and Sam. I almost forget where I am, that is, until the voice forces me back to my present circumstances. Where's number 4? He is nothing if not consistent, this guy. Who? I ask, forcing myself to focus on what he's saying. If I don't, I'm going to make another mistake like I did before. All of a sudden, the calm voice is completely gone. He screams through the speaker, Where's number 4? I wince at the noise. Go to hell, I spit. I'm not telling him anything. Ella? Marina? Anyone? If anyone can hear me, you need to say something. I need help. I'm in some desert. All I know is I'm near a U.S. government base and the FBI has me. We're going somewhere, but I don't know where. And there's something wrong with me. I can't use my legacies. Who was with you in India, number 6? Who were the man and the 2 girls? I stay silent. I picture Ella's face, the youngest Lorian left. I know how that must weigh on her. And now she's without Creighton. It was just a day ago I was jealous of what they had, and now he's gone. What numbers were they? Who were the girls? Agent Purdy sounds impatient, though his voice is calmer now. That's my band. I play the drums. They sing. I love Josie and the Pussycats, don't you? I like to watch retro cartoons. All the kids are doing it. My lips crack and bleed again when I smile. I don't mind. I taste my blood on my tongue and smile wider. 6? The man asks in a gentler voice. I guess he's going to try the good cop tactic. What was number 5 and 7 you were with at the airport? Was that number 5 and 7 you were with at the airport in India? Who is the older man? Who are the girls? Suddenly, it's as if I can't control what comes out of my mouth. My voice doesn't even sound like mine when I say, Marina and Ella. They're sweet, sweet girls. I just wish they were a little stronger. What am I saying? Why am I saying anything? Are Marina and Ella members of your race? Why do they need to be stronger, and what number is Marina? I catch myself this time before answering, shocked that I even opened my mouth to answer again. I concentrate all my energies to find my voice, to respond as I know I should. It's like I'm battling a war within me. I don't know what you're talking about. Why do you keep talking about numbers. Agent Purdy's voice blasts into the box. I know who you are. You're from another planet. I know you kids go by numbers. We have your ship, for Christ's sake. At the mention of our ship, my mind starts to spin. I flash back to the journey from Lorien. I see myself as just a kid staring out the ship's windows at the emptiness of space as we travel towards Earth. I eat at a long white table and look at the other 8 kids, each with their sea pans. There's a boy with long black hair laughing and throwing food. A blonde girl sits next to him quietly eating a piece of fruit. The sea pans at the end of the table watch the kids closely. I see a young Marina crying, her legs tucked up to her chest, sitting on the floor under a control panel. Her sea pan is on her knees next to her, trying to coax her to stand up with her. I remember I got in trouble with a boy with short black hair. The next face I see is a young number 4. His blonde hair is long and wavy. He's kicking the wall with his bare foot, angry about something. He turns around and grabs a pillow, slamming it to the floor. 4 looks up, sees me watching, and his face turns bright red. I hand him a toy, something I've stolen from him. The guilt I felt back then rushes over me again, just as strong as it was when it first happened. The other faces in the room grow fuzzy. Then I see myself in Katerina's arms when we landed on Earth. I remember the door of the ship opening. Where have these memories come from? As hard as I tried before, I could never remember very much about our journey to Earth, aside from a few details. I've never had this vivid a flashback before. Are you listening to me? Purdy yells. We have talked to the Mogadorians, he says. That statement yanks me back to the present with a thud. Did you know that? Oh, yeah? What'd they have to say? I ask, trying to sound like I'm just making conversation, but I regret it instantly. Why would I admit knowing who the Mogs are? Before I can dwell on my mistake too much, my mind drifts back to the ship, to its doors opening, to the human with brown hair and large thick glasses standing, waiting to greet us. In his hands are a briefcase and a white tablet, and behind him sits a big box of clothes. Somehow I know that's Sam's dad. Sam. Oh, how I want to see Sam again. I want to see Sam, I slur. Even though I don't want to say anything more, reveal anything else to the agent, I can't help myself. I hear my voice, feel my brain thick and sluggish, and instantly I realize there must have been drugs in the water. That's why I can't hold the thought in my head, why I keep drifting into my past, and why I feel such pain when I try to use my legacies. I kissed Sam. I should have kissed him for real, but I was too worried with what John would think. John. I kissed John too. I would really like to kiss John again. My stomach gets kind of squirmy when I play back the moment when John grabbed me by the shoulders and turned me towards him. He lowered his face to mine, but just before our lips touched, the house exploded. I can feel my chin tilt upwards as I replay the moment again and again, except this time, when the house explodes, we kiss. The kiss is perfect. Sam? Agent Purdy asks, interrupting my thoughts. I was really enjoying remembering that kiss. I'm guessing you mean Sam Good, right? Sam's face is now all I can see, and my head is spinning out of control. Yeah, sure. I want to see Sam Good. I can hear my voice drifting off. Is he one of you? What number is Sam Good? My eyelids grow heavy, and I find myself falling asleep. The drugs are finally doing me some small favor. 6! He shouts. Hey, 6, wake up! We're not finished here! His shouts jar me so badly I jerk up, only to be stopped by my restraints. 6? 6! Where's Sam Good? Where's John Smith? I'm going to kill you, I whisper, my anger and frustration being tied up and my anger and frustration with being tied up and powerless is getting the best of me. When I find you, I'm going to kill you. I have no doubt you'll try, the agent laughs. I try to clear my head, to concentrate on where I am. Too quickly, everything begins to spin until I pass out. The room is tiny and made of cement. There's a toilet and a cement block, with a mattress tied down on it and a blanket that's too short to cover me. I've been awake for 2 hours, maybe more. I'm having a difficult time putting thoughts together. I'm trying to establish some kind of timeline, from when I found myself alone in the desert, to discovering the gate, to waking up, to my interrogation rite of horror. I need to figure out where I've been, how much time has passed, and what information I let slip. Unscrambling my brain isn't easy. Since the moment I regained consciousness in this cell, the overhead lights have strobed relentlessly. I feel a sharp, pounding pain in my head. My mouth is dry and I hold my churning stomach as I try to focus on the most important part of my recall, my conversation with the agent. I manage to turn invisible just to see if I can, but as soon as I do, I'm attacked with that extreme nausea I felt on the ride, so I materialize immediately. Either the drugs are still in my system or this nausea is being caused by something else. I close my eyes for a few minutes to escape the flashing lights. They're so bright it's impossible to block them out entirely. I remember Agent Purdy said he was in contact with the Mogadorians. Why would the U.S. government be talking to the Mogadorians, and why would he admit that to me? Don't they know the Mogs are the enemy? What I can't figure out is, how much does the government know about me, about my kind? As soon as the Mogadorians wipe out the guard, the next thing they'll do is kill every last human on Earth. Doesn't the government know that? I'm guessing the Mogs have presented a very different picture of themselves. I hear a man's voice come from somewhere above me. It's not Purdy, the agent who spoke to me in the container. I open my eyes to look for a vent or speaker, but I can't see anything with the strobe light flashing. Prepare yourself for transport, number 6. A small panel in the middle of the metal door opens with a clang. I stumble over and find a plastic cup of purple liquid sitting on a shelf. My insides gurgle at the sight of it. Why is it purple? Is it drugged, like the water I was drinking earlier? You must drink the water to be teleported. If you do not drink the water, we will be forced to inject you with it by any means necessary. Go to hell! I yell at the ceiling. Drink, the voice repeats. It does not invite discussion. I pick up the cup and walk to the toilet. I hold the cup high and tilt it, making a big show of pouring it out. The last drop has barely fallen when the cell door whips open. Several men with batons and shields rush in at me. Acid bubbles in my stomach as I try and steel myself for a fight because I know I'm going to have to use my legacies. I decide that this time I can do it, and maybe I can use the flashing lights to my advantage. I greet the first officer with an open punch to the throat. As a baton swings down at me on my left, I catch the attacker's wrist and give it a good twist. I hear it snap. He screams and releases the baton. Now I have a weapon. The officers form a circle around me, but in the flashing light our movements look like they're happening in slow motion and are hard to follow. I pick a man at random and attack, cracking my baton across both his knees. He falls, and I pounce on his neighbor. The physical exertion causes sickness to crawl up my throat, but I swallow it back down. Now that I've managed to push through once, hopefully it will become easier. I slam the butt of the baton on the man's temple. One of the remaining men hits me on the back of my head with something, and another one grabs a chunk of my hair and yanks. Using my telekinesis, I smash them against each other. The body slam makes both of them fall, and I kick them hard. The once incapacitating sickness ebbs and flows, but my strength doesn't. It is back. Now armed with 2 batons, I fight off 3 more men. When they start firing tasers, I freeze the sharp probes in the air before swinging them back towards the shooters. Finally, the doorway's clear, and it looks like it is staying that way. When I step outside the cell, I brace myself and turn myself invisible. The pain and nausea is the worst yet, but I know I can push past it. I just need to hold on for a little while longer, until I can get out and find the others. Okay, so that was the end of Chapter 22. We will pick up on Chapter 23 in the next video. If you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button and that notification bell so you can continue getting more videos as I upload them, which should be weekly now. Every Tuesday will be this series, and each day is going to be another series or another book or whatever I decide. And leave me a comment below because I do love to read them and I do get back to them as soon as I can. If you have any questions to add for the Q&A that I'll be doing tomorrow, go ahead and add them here in case I can't figure out how to do it live, and then, I will have your questions anyway. If you want to try to wait and hold off and, ask me questions live, hopefully I figure it out, but I don't know. So anyway, that's it for now. Reading by Ree. Until next time. Bye.